Shnei Pchinas Neshamas, there's Pchinas Ben and Pchinas Evet. Even Neshamas that Tzilis, and Ben is Neshamas that Tzilis, and Evet is Neshamas the Bia. So he's marked the noch steht that this is Zera Adam and Zera Behema, that Neshamas is Pchinas Ben, Neshamas is Pchinas Tzilis, or Pchinas Adam, and that Tzilis is Pchinas Adam, Adam Adam Elin. That's the so he goes into this union that Tzilis Adam Elin. Vasis Adam Elin, that Tzilis is Gilei Helim. Atzilus is Galus Eres Bekelim. It means Galus of course through Esher Spheres. Chochmeh, Chesed, Chabad, Chagas. I mean, there's Galus of course within Spheres, within Yanam of Tzir V'Agbala. Chochmeh and Chesed, and the Lukus is Gal in a way that the air is mislabish in Chochmeh. The air is mislabish in Bin. That means that you have this Galus of Lukus through the Tzir of Esher Spheres. That's the Eden of Gvul. There's Galus of Lukus in a way that Chachma is a keli for this gili, and Bina is a keli for this gili. Spheres achesed, and that's the Indian not of yesh ma'ayin. It means it brings a stir. On one hand, it says that Tzilis is gilei helim. It means that what's pshat gilei helim? Helim is the evidence of the way it is b'pshitis, higher than the tzir of Esher Spheres, the way it's bligvol, and his galus eres bekelim is not a chiddush legabi that Indian. That's being megale. That's a gilei helim. That's lekus being nisgale through Spheres in a way that Chachma and Chesed is a keli for this gilei. And that's Hemshech to the Pshitas Elikus. That the Ein Sof Elikus is Nizgale, and Sof Kol Sof is Nizgale in a way that Sfiras HaChacham is a keli for this Gilu. That's on one hand. On the other hand, it says that Atzilus is Yesh Ma'ayin. It's Ein Arech. That means that the Ein Sof Mitzad Atzmi is Mushtal Legamri for Neshes Sfiras. And in Yanim of Tzir and Gvul are Be'ein Arech Klal Te Elikus, Te Ein Sof. So the Shaila is, Manavshach, is Galas Elikus through, let's say, in Pashto Verte, the fact that in Seichel V'Asage, Elikus is made in a way, and kind of verstehen, and it's mislavish with Pnimius in Kalim, you can understand it, you can have Avos Hashem and Yiras Hashem. His Galas Elikus in Kalim is that an Indian which is Be'ein Arech Legamri to Legabi the Etzem. The Etzem of Elikus is Ein Sof. The Etzem, the Kameshu Hu Mitzad Atzmi is Ein Sof. Pshitas B'Tachlis, and Chochmeh V'Chabad V'Chagas Shadanim of Kalim. So Elikus, the way since Gal and Chabad and Chagas is a new Indian. It's a Tzimtzum. Mitzad Keach HaGvul. So then there's in it where the Elikus is Mizgal in a way that even that the spheres which are in Yanim of Geder, in Yanim of Gvul, are able to be Mikabel the Pnimi there. But the Mikabel the Pnimi is the way it is L'chatchila Shaychas the Gvul. But the way it is Ein Sof is the Gamri Mufshit, the Gamri Shalei Be'erev to the Yanim the way it's Mizgal in the spheres. Or no, or Atzilus is Gilei Helim. And the Pashas the Avana is that it's a stir. That means if Atzilus is Gilei Helim, that means that Gvul, Kalim, Chachma, Chesed is not Shalei Be'erech Klal to the air. It means that the air Ein Sof, through a Tzimtzum, is able to be Nizgale through Kalim. And in the Kalim, you have a Me'ain, so to speak. It's a Gili of the air, the way the air is a Pshitis. That means that Chachma and Chesed have a certain Erech Legabe Ein Sof. If they're able to express Ein Sof, and Ein Sof is able to be Nizgale in a way that Seichel, Chabad v'Chagas is able to be Mekablet and able to absorb it, the Pnimius, to understand it, or it should be made in the Kalim Pnimius, that means that the Kalim are not Shalei Be'erech Klal Legabe Ein Sof. There's some Yachas, there's some Dimyon between the Pshitas of Elikus, Legabe Esher Spheres. And when you say Bein Arech, you're saying that the Ein Sof is Azam and start Ein Sof, Legabe this Ein Sof, Chacham v'Chesed is Shalei Be'erech Klal. Atzilus v'Asiyah b'Shavet. That means that Chacham is Kasiyah Gufnis Etzli. So that's L'chora Stira. Does Chacham have an Erech to Elikus? In Yanim of Spheres, in Yanim which are in Yanim Nefloim, Mailas Gdelis, so Chacham and Av and Yira, and there's a possibility they could be Kalim to the Eibishter's air, or not, or the Eibishter's air is Pshitas is Pshitas B'Tachlis, and the guy with the Pshitas of Elikus, Chacham v'Chesed, it says I'm a certain Ein Sof, which Chacham v'Chesed is Shalei Be'erech Klal. It's Kasiyah Gufnis, like Alter Rebbe says, the guy Ein Sof. That's L'chora Stira. So what's he? So first he says that it's two different inyanim. Atzilus is begin the helam legabi ak, legabi adam kadmen, but legabi which ak lechatchil is already after the tzimtzum, already the aschol of kelim. So Atzilus is only megal lekus lechatchil shaychas the kelim, lekus shaychas the gvul. But the which bein amar is the gidiv lekus kamei shehu legabi the inyan Atzilus is yeshmai. That's the first beer that he says. He says so eidish leimar that legabi legabi akav Atzilus is gilei helam. You say Atzilus is Be'ein Arech, that's Legabe, so he brings the Alter Rebbe says in Tere'er, in Yevil of Shmalchus, that mitzad Ein Sof there's two Hamshachas. There's the Hamshachas of B'chinas Gvul Mida, and that's the Shiur Shemakar of Erakav, and then there's the Hamshachas of B'chinas Bli Gvul, and that's the Makar of the Erasev Kolam and Lachar Tzimtzum. So Atzilus is Gilei Helam Legabi the Erakav, which that's the Hamshachas of B'chinas Gvul Mida, which is all within the there's two madrigas. There's the way the is nimshach and ha'efen of b'chinas gvul mida, which that's the sherish of erakav, and you have the way it's nimshach it's in the ha'efen of bli gvul, and that's the sherish of erasev kolam. The fact that it says gilei helam is legabe erakav, sheikan legabe era bli gvul is be'en arich klal. But the question is a manavshach. If erakav is also nimshach from the erin sof shlifnei tzimtzum. What's the parsha that Rebbe is saying? From erin sof is nimshach two types of amshachas. He's expressed itself in two ways, in the efen of bligvul and the efen of gvul. So how could it, and the gabi, the amshachas of b'chinas gvul, Atzilus is gilei helam. So that means, if Atzilus is gilei helam, the gabi erakav means that Atzilus is able to express, to some degree, Ein Sof. So if he's, and kav is also amshachas of b'chinas Ein Sof. So how could it be be'ein arich klal, the gabi the amshachas of b'chinas bligvul umida? That's l'chorda, that's what he asked in Vayelech. Yeah, that's the, if you look back just for a minute, the beginning of Vayelech, that's the Shaila. That's what he has. Look at the end of the first kata in Vayelech. We're saying Kav is the Amshacha and Rish Yutes. Kav is the Amshacha of B'chinas Gvul Umida. From Ein Sof Shlifnei Tzimtzum, there's two Eifanim of Amshacha. The Amshacha of B'chinas Gvul, and the guy with that Amshacha Kav is Me'ein Amor. And the Chochm is Gilei Helam Legabe Akav. So how is it B'chinas Yesh Ma'ayin Legabe Atzmas Ein Sof? If the Kav is not being Erich Legabe Atzmas Ein Sof, what's the pshat? Kav is the second Amshacha. There are two Amshachas in the Ein Sof. So how could it be that it's Be'ein Erich Klal Legabe the Ein Sof, Legabe the Atzmas Ein Sof, which that's the Sherish of Erakav, and it's Gilei Helam Legabe the Amshachas Ein Sof Sheb'chinas Gvul. L'chor it's two mini Amshachas in the Ein Sof. So what's the matter with the Solarichas? What's the Yisad of the Shaila? The Yisad of the Shaila is, if you say, the way we understand the Pshit is, there's Indian of there's Indian of Kalim is Keichagbul. Then there's there's Galus HaMakir Kameshu, and the is Ein Sof. In the is Meir, the Tachas HaPshitas of Elikus, the Ein Sof of Elikus. So, and you say that the Alter says into the that there's two Eifanim, the way that expressed itself. Shnei Mini Amshachis. The Ein Sof of Elikus could express itself in the tzir of Bligvul, and it could express itself in the tzir of Gvul. So if Atzilus is Gilei Helam, Legabi that in Ein Sof, which is Nizgal in the tzir of Gvul, how could it be Be'ein Arich Klal to the Ein Sof, the way it's Nizgal in Eifin of Bligvul? It's the same And there's one Pshittis of Elikus which is Nizgal in this what's the Megala? The is Ein Sof, that Elikus is Pashav Talas Pshittis. And this Pshittis is expressed in two ways, in Eifin of Gvul, and Eifin of Bligvul. So how could it be Be'ein Arich Legabi the Bligvul and Gilei Helam Legabi the Gvul? If Legabi the Pshittis of Elikus, so Azam is such Pshittis. That the Gabi this Pshittis. Chochma Vasi is B'Shava. Chochma is not a quality at all. Chochma is Be'ein Arich Klal. Like you say, that says Emra Chochma Rama V'Amuk. So Azam is certain Ein Sof. It's not Stam Ein Sof that there is a Darga of Ein Sof that it's the same Mohos, let's say, or the same quality as Seichel Umidis, as Chabad V'Chagas as Sfiris. But in the Chabad V'Chagas is a Lekos B'Gvul. This is a Lekos beyond Agbolos. But there's some Erech between Sfiris and Ein Sof. When you say that Be'ein Arich Klal means that it says I'm a certain Sof, which is beyond the whole category of Chabad V'Chagas. And the Gabi that means to say in Sof, Chochma V'Asiyah B'Shava. Like Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, you say Leis Mashavet Fisebe. To say Leis Mashavet Fisebe is also the Indian of Alter Rebbe says that Kol Hashem Yitzchak Lei. It's like someone saying, says I'm a certain Tzvar Amuka, you can't Yev Shel Mash Shebiyadayim. Seichas Not Chatchila no Sheichas to Mishash. So a higher Mishash or a lower Mishash has no Erech Legabi Seichel. So there's if Legabi would as that sort of Pshitis, he's mufshit Legamri Megeder HaMetzias, that the whole category of Metzias, the whole category of what's considered Milas in the realm of Metzias, is Shalei Be'er Klal Legabi the Eir, because his Ein Sof B'Tachlis is beyond any definition, it's Pashav Talas HaPshitis. So how could you say that Legabi this Eir, Legabi another element in this Eir, same Pshitis? So there's Amshach B'chinas Gvil Mida, and Legabi that Kav is Gilei Helam. Becoming for such thing. So here he's marking that the air has two opposite elements in there. That's what he's marking this whole area. That the sherish of air is nedargi v'chelis. And there's two inyanim. What's the nekuda that he explains here? That in the air there's taka two tnuas. there is in the earth there's two tenuas. That's the nekuda here. That the earth is not. It's not. See, the earth is the pshittis of Elokus, and mele legabe the pshittis. So is atzilus is chabad v'chagas be'erech or not be'erech? There's two kavim in what he says before is that the Eibusher mitzvah in the Yecheles ha'atzmos the Eibusher is kol yachol. He contains two opposite inyanim. There's the Yecheles lahoir Shiur v'chenes ein sof. There's the Yecheles lahoir. The mitzvah ha'atzmos there's he's not mugdar and therefore he could be mizgale in a eifin of ein sof. It could be a which is v'chenes ein sof. But the Eibusher is kol yachol. He's not limited, so to speak, to the inyan agilui. And there's yachol shalei lahoir. The Eibusher is not mugdar and mele. There's mitzad ha'atzmos. He could be an eifin of helen, not to be in his gala. And the fact that there's the inyan of er agvul, that's an expression of the fact that the Eibusher is yachol shalei lahoir. So what comes out? I'm saying what comes out from the nekuda is that the same way you say when you get to the yecheles, the way it is. Let's speak about it the way it's expressed in air. It's taka two opposites. If you would say that if you wouldn't have this word that chachma is yesh ma'ayin, so the avana would be you see atzilus is gilei helim means that legabi erin sof says amisart pshitis, which spheris chabad v'chagas could be a keli, could express, has some erech, and they're able to bring out the Ein Sof is able to be mislabish in this verse. That would mean that the air is not pasha b'tachas pshitis. We want to bring out that there's two opposite ktsavis. On one hand, sazam misrat pshitis, which is shalei be'er klal in of tzir. The air mitzadatzmi is pasha b'tachas pshitis, and the Eibusher mitzadatzmi is pasha b'tachas pshitis. He's beyond any shaychus to gvul, and that's Meir in the air. Leidach, the Eibusher is not mugdir to be an eifin of Ein Sof. He's not mugdir to be an eifin of Ein Sof. He's yochel to be mizgal in gvul. So the fact that he's married b'gvul is not because gvul, if we're dealing with, it's not because gvul has a shaychus din, not because tzir has a erech din. We're dealing mitzad atzme is pasha b'tachas pshitis. Mitzad atzme there's no shaychus to gvul at all. But mitzad the fact that the keach gvul is also yecheles atzmes. Mitzad the fact that the Eibusher is not mugdar at all, so he doesn't have this hagdara that he has to be, that he's limited to be in a tzir of b'gvul. The male, if he wants, he could be married b'gvul. That's inside the Yecheles shalei lahoir. That's what's to. But if since is mushish in the Yecheles ha'atzmos, and Yecheles ha'atzmos is the emes b'gvul, what's emes b'gvul? It's shlilas kol ha'teirim. So how is it expressed in the air that the air is migale, a mocker which is shlilas kol ha'teirim? That on one hand mitzad atzmai the air is pasha b'tachas pshitis, and the gabi the air there's no there's the gabi mitzad atzmai tziyur has no erech klal the gabi there. But leidach, if he wants mitzad his ein sof, he could also be b'gvul. That's the nekuda. So the fact that he's b'gvul, not because gvul has an erech there. It's because that's an expression of his ein sof. That he's not mugdir to be dafkin in a way of b'gvul. If he wants, he could be b'gvul. So on one hand, the gvul is shalei be'erech klal. It's a yesh ma'ayin mamish. Leidach, it's gilei helam. Why is it gilei helam? Not because gvul has a shaychus din. Because the air expresses the amitis apshitis. And so the amitis apshitis, even though gvul has no shaychus din at all, and shalei be'erech klal, and it's chochma v'asiyah b'shaveh, but mitzad his ein sof can erich zayin b'gvul. That's what we have after this whole erichus. Without bringing in that the air is mushrish in the darg of yecheles, then the air begins only where there's a makra ready for the musik of gili. Then gili would only express the pshitis of a lakudish as a shaychus to gili, not the amitis ein sof. Besides the pshitis, the way it has a shaychus to air, so it's pshitis, and it's pshitis, so it's mufshit from tzir. The fact that in the air you have two dargis. On one hand, what's the previous in? Because the air expresses the amitis of pshitis. How does the amitis of pshitis, which is mushlo from the hagdara of blikvul also? How does it come to expression? Then it said atzmei legabe the air is everything shalei be'erech. Alt is ein sof. But with idach, he's not mugbul that he has to be beyond gvul. If he wants, he said his blikvul can erech zayin b'gvul. So the yeshma'ayin and gilei helim that brings out the truth of what Esesphiris is. On one hand, we're saying that chachma v'asiyah is shalei be'erech klal. So ibazeh, how is it gilei helim? It's gilei helim because the Ein Sof is not mugbal to be in a tzir of blikvul, to be in a tzir of Ein Sof, and he's yachol shalei lahoir. he's yachal to be in a eifin of gvul. But that's mitzad his yechelis. You versteht the meaning? Mitzad atzmai gvul, if Gilui volt gewen wouldn't be nirgash the nekud of Shleber. So what would the pshat be? That lechatchile was for that pshitis vertnes gal in there, a pshitis which has an erech to kelim, which has an erech to tzir, and therefore chachma v'chesed are able to express it. We say mitzad atzmai the air, and that wouldn't then the air wouldn't express that mitzad pshitis. We're saying that the air is mushish in the yechelis and it expresses, so to speak, the inyanim the way they are in the yechelis atzmos.
And that's why it's Shleber.
Huh? Shalei be'erech. How is it in yechelis atzmos? We're saying that on one hand, mitzad atzmos is yachal l'hoyer sheyev chines ein sof. But is he mugba that he's only yachal l'hoyer sheyev chines ein sof? Or in the same year he's kel yachal, and he's not mugder to be dafken eifin of ein sof. This it's the same way there could be a which is not ein sof, which is eifin of gvul. Why could it be gvul? Because how is it in yechelis atzmos? So using these words. If you say there is no that mitzad atzmos, there is no sheyev chines ein sof, you say he's mehr bigvul because he has a shaykhs gvul. We're saying be'etzem mitzad atzmos there's a yechelis l'hoyer sheyev chines ein sof. So sheyev chines ein sof, that means that he can't be bigvul. His is ein sof. But the same, why could it be because the Eibush is yachal, the Eibush is bigvul. He's not mugder. The same inside the same yechelis, it could be a which could be mehr bigvul, because atzmos is not limited. So the fact that he married b'gvul is not because the Inyan is a zamisert zach, which is be'erech hagvul. It's because the makir, because the lakus is not limited to any specific form. So how is this expressed lepoel mitzias and seder shalshlis that the lakus is not limited in any form? Then mitzad atzmai, if you're going to be made the erech of gvul legabi lakus, you say the gvul shalei be'erech, and there's an erechla, and that's mer lachat tzimtzum. That mitzad erein sof mitzad seven kolamin chachma v'asiyah b'shavet. Leidach, is he limited that he has to be beyond kelim? Mitzad sheni he's b'slavish b'plimius in kelim. The er is mer b'kelim. So that's mer b'goli. The fact that er is mer b'kelim is because elokus is not mukbal to be in the tzir, to have the limitation of bligvul. That's so. These two inyanim bring out the mitzvah pshitis of the er. That the air reflects the inyanim the way they are in yechelis atzmos.
Is the word of harabavad that we use? It's a different idea.
It has to do with that, but let's focus on this.
That's how we answer the question.
That's what he's going to answer.
Saying you ready?
We want to say that
saying
when
answer
we're
already?
saying that the air is made in kelim, it's not because the air has erech to kelim. The air, if you're going to be made it mitzad the tzir kaviyachol of the air, has no shaykhs to kelim at all, has no shaykhs to gvul at all. It was the asim is insaf, but that's mitzad the tzir. But the Eibush is not mugbal, so it's nirgash begali that the fact that it's mer bekel is because elikus there is no, you cannot define it, and therefore even though biyachadim zed that legabi the air, the kelim have no mitzias at all, the kolach shiv, but biyachadim zed he's yachol laher.
That's why it's good to have.
Yeah.
It's
The fact that legabi mitzad atzma everything's bein arichtim. That's nizgal, and that's how is in this. I'm saying in the yechelis atzma it's all one in you. It's nirgash that the Eibush is kol yachol, and that's there's no hagdara klal. But how is it nirgash in mitzias? I'm saying we're when it's meir begilui. So begilui you can't be margish kol yachol kameshu. Lahoir and shalei lahoir biyachad doesn't the mitzvah say ein sof, which b'mele contains lahoir and shalei lahoir, that can be meir kameshu begoli. How is it meir begoli? You have a tnu on one hand. There's the air in itself, which in this area is meir that the Eibush is partial b'tachas abshitis, and it's nirgash that kelim and gvul have no chshivas at all. They're atzilus asiyah b'shavah mamash. Leidach, there's an afaf b'kain, there's a tzimtzum, and the air is meir begvul. The same air is meir begvul. If all the bertzeni is meir begvul, so it means if he wants, even though the air misad atzmi is ein sof, but he's not limited to be dafka in a way that he's mushla from being meir b'pnimis. Not because the kelim of a shaykhstin, but because the air has no limits. So to use a mashal, you say that makamar enim enamida, for example. So it says that on one hand the arin was a Masayim v'chetzi arke, a Masayim v'chetzi rachbei, had a limited space. Le'idach, it didn't take up space. It was there's 20 amos over there, and there was the same space with the Aron there, without the Aron there. Even after they put the Aron there, and the Chur of the Aron took up space, it was a Masayim v'chetzi arke, Masayim v'chetzi rachbei. Ava Bekain was Einim min Amida. Didn't take up the space in the Kiddush HaKadosh. So one of the Biurim Chassidus for the Makam Einim min Amida is mitzvah. As you have, let's say, mitzias in which are mugbal makim. You have a table is a limited thing which takes up a certain amount of space. You have things that are beyond makim. They're beyond the limitation of makim, and these things cannot be limited to a space. They're beyond space. Yeah. Let's say it's beyond space. It's not. Mashegin alakus on one. If alakus is not limited in any of these limitations, he's beyond space and he's beyond being beyond space. Could we experience, when we're living in a place of space, are we able to experience the beyond any of these forms? How is that expressed in Koil? That on one hand, the Lakus is beyond space. So that's the initial point. The initial point is that it's beyond space. But this beyond is not limited that it only has to be in a form of no space. He's beyond that form too. He can come into space. Even when there's space, he's beyond space. I'm just saying a dugma ba'alma.
Even if his space is beyond, even if his space he is in space.
Huh?
He's takamugba. Why is that a problem if he's takamugba?
It's not takamugba. It's misadin saf. He's not takamugba. It's misadin saf is also a makim.
The Hachodesh being stuff, that's able to be like
The fact that the expresses this type of heder agdara is because the is mushish in the Yechelis Atzmos. And the Yechelis Atzmos, the lahoir and shalei lahoir. The Yechelis lahoir sheyi v'chinas ein saf. And the Hachodesh lahoir b'gvul is one inyan. Is that the Eibishter is not limited at all. He's kil yachid. Yeah, that we saw before. Yeah, that we say. Let's see it in the Pnim. I'm saying that.
You're saying that both of them are given Atzilus?
Huh?
Both of these are given Atzilus?
Are Meir. That's what's Meir and Atzilus. That mitzad echad the Eibishter is ein sof, and mitzad atzmai the kelim are shalei be'ereklal, and Atzilus is kolach shiv. It's not a keli at all. Telikus. Mitzad sheni, the is Meir b'kelim. Why is there not because you say Talmud, you say that the fact that the Talmud through a tzimtzum, the Rav through a tzimtzum is able to be understood by the Talmud means that the Rav is not truly bein arech. You're saying he's truly bein arech, and la'achar tzimtzum is meir the eraseva kalam. The gabi eraseva kalam it's meir that legabi the Eibishter atzilus v'asiyah b'shava mamish, and that's meir and atzilus. That chochma v'asiyah is bein arech klal. Yesh ma'ayin mamish. Chochma me'ayin timatzit. It means it's nirgash in chochma. The be'etzim it's a davar chodesh legamri. So how is the lukus meir there? Because the Eibishter is bleakable. It's a different inyan.
You're saying that's why mitzad echad is bein arech,
Yeah.
and mitzad sheni is
It's bleakable. It's gilei helim.
Gilei.
Yeah. Let's see the way he says it. I'm saying the kodas inyan is from the Pisa Yuva. We did that yesterday. We did that Sunday night. Let's see the lashon in the nimsa lefizeh. Just v'nimsa lefizeh. B'chinas hakav. Shu hamshach b'chinas gvul hamida. In other words, how does he say before? Just one lashon here. למה זה אמביר זאת זה? ונמצא לפי זה בחינס הקו, which that's המשך בחינס גבול ומידה. It means that he says before that מצד יחד שלei lahir. The כדי מאיר בגבול, which is hebech mehusa the mehusa is ein sof. But even though the mehusa is ein sof, can meir zan b'gvul. So that's in B'chinas Keich HaGvul Shebein Sof. What does he say here? Shu Gam Ken Ein Sof. Ela Shezeh Mash Keich HaB'gvul Yisas Esfiris. Means the Keich HaGvul is not if the fact that the Eibush is Meir B'gvul. It's because Lechatchil says Am Esert Ein Sof, which has a Sheiches to Gvul. That the Keich HaGvul is Ein Sof. That it's not Gam Ken Ein Sof. You have you say Lechatchil the alien has a Sheiches to the Tachton. We're saying the fact that it's able to be the Keich B'gvul, the fact that Ein Sof is able to be male and eif and gvul, that also is a keich ein sof. That's because the etzem is not limited. Punkt as the fact that he's meir b'pchinas ein sof is keich ein sof, is b'keich hacha gadol. The fact that this yachal lahir, which is b'chinas tach pashav tachas apshitis, is because the etzem is ein sof. Therefore, the eir is ein sof. There's the fact that this eir ein sof can be meir in kelim is not because the kelim have erichtim. It's because the keich hagvul is ein sof. That's also an expression of his ein sof. The mitzad is ein sof can erich shtein b'gvul. How if the which is meir b'gvul was the chatchila limited inyan, that it wouldn't be a keich ein sof. We're saying the yechedesh leilahar is that even though the mitzad mahusik is ein sof, still he's able to be meir. He's able to be meir in a way of gvul. That the bli gvul should be behelim, and he should be meir in a way of gvul. The fact that he could have such an inyan is also a keich ein sof. The keich gvul is also a keich ein sof. That's okay.
No, it is begol is chiddush.
Yeah. I'm saying, but he's married the whole Indian when you get okay. Let me send the lashon. It says ulegabi b'chinazu means this Indian, and this is all a vert and air. We partially say that tzimtzum the etzem kameshu who is ein safe. The etzem kameshu who is pshitis. You have arav. If his seichel is meir going to be kameshu hu ba'atzmai, then the Talmud won't be a keli. So yazir chayil is that tzamtzim is atzmai that the Talmud. So when the Talmud is getting a svarosh is the fi'erach the Talmud. That's also air. That's mitzad the tunu of his galus etzem, or that's a tunu of tzimtzum. That's the tunu of tzimtzum. There say it. Washas the seichel that is meir kameshu hu yishalei be'erach the Talmud. Through tzimtzum, he constrains himself, so mainly he's meir in a way that's masim to the Talmud. So that's not a part of air. It's not air mein amar. David is saying that Atzilus is gilei helen. Atzilus is also an expression of the Ein Sof. It's behemshech to the air. Because what's this? This air to begin with, there's two madrigas. There's the air mitzad atzmi and mitzad alei saratz, and the air is meir b'gvul. The meir b'gvul, the fact that the air could be meir and eif and gvul, that's part of the. That's two inyanim of the air. Since the air is the his galus hamakir, is this galus etzem. So in the punkt that's the etzem is yachol lahayr v'yachol shalei lahayr. So the air has these two tenuas. Mitzad atzmi the air is ein sof, and mitzad keiche b'gvul the air is meir b'gvul. So the keich hagvul or keich ein sof mamish. V'nimshech misham hakav le'al derech b'rei yishmai ki mehelam alagilu. Means this inyan that ein sof mitzad the fact that Eibusher is ein sof can a meir zam b'gvul. This inyan is the kav is this nizgala through the kav. She'er mein amar. But mitzad echad, but if you're going to have this inyan, that what's the pshat of the kav is gilei helim? Because in the kav is nizgala. This nikuda and ein sof, the mitzad this ein sof is also b'gvul. But if you don't have the nikuda of yesh of ein arech, so who said it's mitzad ein sof that is nimshach b'gvul? He's nimshach b'gvul because the chatchila er mugbal. So these are two nekudas which are negay one to the other. It says mikon ein arech legabe ein sof mamish. K'meish ein arech hagvul legabilti b'gvul. In the klal gabi and stuff mamish. It means the fact that and the etzem in the gvul gabi bli gvul. And the Eibusher tachas bli gvul. Ayba say how is he meir b'gvul? That's a keich ein sof. And the gabi the end of the keich ein sof lahar b'gvul the kav is taki gilei helen.
So we're saying the keich was bligvul, in erech legabi the keich bligvul.
Yeah. Means elikus b'gvul is be'en erech legabi the bli gvul. Ayba say how is he b'gvul? Because it's a keich ein sof. The fact that a lukus is b'gvul is mitzad the keich ein sof, not because it's shaykh is the gvul. These are not two nekudas opposites. This is all never from the same nekuda.
How's the bein reich now, though? If you're saying it's the same, it's ein safe.
Gvul legabi bli gvul is bein arech.
But we're saying it's ein safe.
So why is he nimshach b'gvul? Because the gvul is be'erech to the bli gvul, or because the ein sof is there's no limitations legabi the ein sof. Not because the gvul has a erech to him. Because even though the gvul has no erech, but the ein sof has no there's no form of how he could be meir and what type of eifin could be meir. He's yachol shalei lahar. He's yachar to be in a way that's he could be behelim.
So the gvul legabi the locker of ein sof is bligvul.
gvul legabe the er mitzad atzmi is shalei berach.
Emergency means the way the Ein Sof is especially the bleak.
The er ablikvul.
That's not the Malka from Ein Sof has two things, bleak and Gvul. We're saying that Gvul is bleak, is Be'enei Chagabi the word of bleak.
And b'meil that with when it's negesh that the gvul is shalei berach, so that now the gvul is being megala the Ein Sof. The gvul is a keach Ein Sof because the fact that Elokus is bigvul is an expression of Ein Sof. If the fact that he's bigvul is because gvul has a shaykhis to him, then it's not a keach Ein Sof.
So they're both expressions of Ein Sof is you can do anything.
Yeah. Or both together. Yeah. I mean that's the nukod at the end of the day. Both. It's not two separate inyanim there. It's not two separate. Er inyan is gili amakir. What says Gilei HaMakir? Gilei HaMakir K'mei Shu Be'etzim. The Makir K'mei Shu Be'etzim is Yachal Lahar and Shalei Lahar. The Makir K'mei Shu Be'etzim is not defined at all. He's not defined by Ein Sof, and he's mushted from Gvul. He's mushted from Gvul and he's mushted from Bli Gvul. Means, so it's what is that? How does that express itself? That he's Yachal Lahar Shiur B'chinas Ein Sof, and he's not limited that this area which is Ein Sof has to contradict Gvul. Is Yachal Shalei Lahar. Inside the Ein Sof, it could be a mitzvah.
Saying the word of bleak was not going to contradict the Gvul.
Yeah.
Why
Not
both in Yonam Misbati and Kim Latzibus?
the air, he's dealing now with the whole Atzilus, the air and the Kalim. The air is the Kalim.
Who brings Charis the Indian of Bleak?
It's Meir. The fact that Chachma Ma'ayin Timotzi, that it's Meir, that Chachma Yesh Ma'ayin, that's Nirgash Natzilus, the Ein Sof HaSeviv. It's Nishtzvevas in the Eiris.
The Hachodesh of Bleak. That is the
The fact that it's Be'en Arech. It says the same way you say beneged to the way in Sof Shalom Ma'ile Misher Shemakar Akav. The Hainu Kedem Al Yisrasin Hu Legamri Hu Lemayil Legamri Muhus Chach means the Ein Sof Mitzad Atzmai is Shalei Berach Legamri Techach. Just where the Mer Kedem Al Yisrasin Yachal Yisri Bi Revav Sfiris Yafan Machirim Shalei Moses Sfiris Klau the Blikvol Sfiris Ein Sof Sfiris Sfiris in Ketz. Fat Mashins Barley the Kedem Al Yisrasin in Shaykh Sfiris Klau means he's beyond the whole definition of Gvul. Legabi Amitas Ein Sof the whole musik of Chacham v'Chesed is Shalei Be'erach Klal. The Davki Kasher Ola Bertzene Lahatzel. Os Shaykh Sheish L'Sfiris. Mitzad Ola Bertzene. But mitzad the Mehusa mitzad Atzmei, Sfiris are Shalei Be'erach Klal. So if Shalei Be'erach Klal, you say if someone is big, if he wants to be small. If you're big, you're big. You can't want to be small. If Ona Ratzin, he's Ein Sof B'Tachlis. And he's mufshet the gamri as his. But kasher ole bertzene os shaykh sheish was meant this. That's because the air has two tnuas. So the air said that's Ein Sof, but if ole bertzene ebervil is there's ein menia legabe and memeli can be nimshach legvul. Yochalis dav kasher ole bertzene lahatzel os shaykh sheish l'sfiris. V'hines is matzil and chulukana. Avol kedem al yisrael. And that means the Ein Sof mitzad atzmei. Ein sheirish klal le'esesiris b'chinas gvul umida. Well, lechein legab madrega zu akavu b'chinas ein erech.
You say Ein Sof Mitzad Atzmei, you mean the Makar from Bleak Gvul and Gvul.
No, Ein Sof Mitzad Atzmei is the er Ein Sof. The fact, he says that the spashas er there's two madregas. The fact that the spashas er there's two madregas, that's only there from the yechelis. We're not leaving from what we said before, that the fact that it could be married b'gvul as Yechelish is connected with the Yechelish Shalei Lahar.
That's not a be'inrichtige Hamshach from Gvul to Ein Sof Yechelis. Saying it's not what we're saying over here.
That's not what he's saying right now. The gvul, the gab the bli. That's it. What are we holding here?
The Gvul's not Nimshach from the Bleak Gvul, right?
It is. He said before, Mitzad Ola Bertzene.
Why is it Nimshach? It's two Yechelis.
What do you mean it's two Yechelis? It's one Yechelis. The Atzma says Kel Yachol. What do you mean it's two Yechelis?
Yeah, and therefore he can be Mash Gvul and Bleak Gvul.
It's not two separate inyanim, but it's one inyan. That's clear. It's all one inyan. It's not two separate inyanim.
The R is Biskal is the Gala both Yechelis, when you say.
Yeah,
That's what you mean.
it's not two separate inyanim. In it's nizgala in a way that it's two separate tnuas. You want it should be meir begilui. If it's going to be meir, I'm saying, atmas kol yochel cannot be meir begilui. Not cannot be meir begilui. I'm saying, gilui means that you're able to. It's actualized. It's mizgala lepoil. You're able to sense it and experience it. How do you experience nothing, or beyond nothing? How do you experience beyond nothing? Not nothing and not bli gvul and not gvul, not chiv and not shlilah. How do you experience that? So this is how it's mizgala lepoil. It's mizgala is that on one hand it's nirgash the Eibusher's pashal chasab shittis, and legabe ein sof chachma v'asiyah b'shava mamish. Chachma and a cat, the same thing. Machsheves aka, machsheves asus. Legabe ein sof, the whole idea of gvul in the most edele form of mitzias eilamis is shalei be'erech klal legabe ein sof. The Eibusher himself is ein arech lecha. The highest, most loftiest level of mitzias. The guy with the Eibusher himself is a ka'asiyah mamish. Atzilus v'asiyah b'shav. So you say it's a mamish like a horse. So was getroffen da that Chochmah Chabad v'Chagas dafka these 10 things are kelim talukus. That's the mitzias of Welt. We make a Welt, and then the world is comprised of these 10 milas, and they're considered very lofty things from the point of view of Welt. It means they're the milas of Gvul, and in there is Meir Elokus. It means Elokus is Meir in a way that it never is a keli for him. How is that possible? You just said that Legabe him shalei be'erech klal. That's also Keach Ein Sof. He's Yochel shalei lahayr. Means that he's not limited to be dafke and a tzir of Ein Sof.
That's the Mata, I think.
Mata, I think,
Mata and Tach.
that's the Mata and Tach. He explains Kama Pratim in Chil Shalom. We are without going into how which Shalom.
The idea that the Eibusher is Yechelis Shleilah.
That the Yechel Shalom. That the Ein Sof big Gvul. Yeah.
And that is big Gvul, Legabe this that.
Yeah, that's Gvul. That's Shalei Be'erech Klal. Legabe the Air Commission. So that's.
Why? Because we were.
Yeah.
Why do we need all of Bertzainik for the Gvul aspect?
What it would be if it would be no Oliver saying.
That saying that it would just be one side of the coin, just the bleak aspect.
No. Just and there would be no Asesphiris.
I thought that's what you
Without Asesphiris, so then it wouldn't be mere than Mitzvah Ein Sof.
all Bertzainik you're saying is for both aspects, for both.
To bring out that he's not limited to be that whatever he wants, that's the way it is. There's no Hagdar. Vir vil as is. But how are you going to bring out that what brings out that there's an etzem which is not limited to fit with the system? The fact mitzad atzmei is shalei be'erech klal. But if he wants, the elements could relate to him. So that brings out that you can't put this etzem in a box. Not in a box of gvul, not in a box of gvul. Not in any box. Because if we want to say that the fact these two ktsavos, that it still says Gilhem Ishma'ayin, this is a result of the fact that the air contains within itself two tenuas. It's not two separate airs. Air Ein Sof is the izgalus of the market, the izgalus of the what's the true market? The Eibusher is beyond any boxes. Not the box of Bligvol, not the box of Gvul, is Ein Sof Mamish. How is that expressed in actuality, the Pale? That if you're going to say L'chatchila, the world's going to relate to him. We'll be Meir, and we won't have to be Shayla Val. He's going to be in Iskabel, in Kalim, we'll be able to be Misasik, in Avanas, Vasagas Olukus, and Avas Hashem, and Yiras Hashem. So then the tfis is because Olukus L'chatchila Gabi Olukus, Avas Hashem, Yiras Hashem, Artevis Malkim, and Hasagas Olukus. Seichel is a keli for Olukus. Seichel is a davar niflamayid, and Seichel is a keli for Olukus. Then it wouldn't. That's not. Then it's not air. That's tzimtzum. It is this galas hamakir, which is Ein Sof, not sheiches the Welt. So we were saying on one hand it's Meir that the Eibusher is pashut galas pshittis, and so Azamar said pshittis that in legabe this pshittis, mitzad this pshittis, Aves Hashem and a cat jumping back and forth is the same thing mamish. Atzilus v'asiyah b'shava mamish. Machshavas asus, machshavas ak. What's machshavas asus? I don't know what the fair thinks about. Huh? Whatever it is, I don't know if it has the Lush Machshav, whatever it is over there. Machshav is act as Al-Bazach, Legabi Elikus. Because Legabi Amita Sein Sof, Leis Machshav Tfisabe. And like, not only the whole concept of Chshivas that what exists by us in Yonim of Milas are no Inyan Legabi Detzim. Atzilus Vasiyah B'Shavah. And so, but he's not limited to be in that box that he's Shalei Be'erech Klal. Shalei Be'erech Klal. But if he wants, the Nivra is able to relate to him. And is able to reveal himself. The Eir is able to mislabish and kelim. This Eir Ein Sof is able to mislabish and kelim.
Why is the Hachodesh that he's no shayach to God?
Okay, he speaks about later, but I'm saying the Pashas Advarim, he speaks about it later as a Maimar Nechah. I'm saying for the simple, that's what I said before when they get to the Makam Enim and Amida. You say you want to say that something is beyond the limitation of higher than Makim. I'm saying Lepel Leninin, how are you going to start off? You say he's Shaykhis the Gvul. He's Shaykhis the Gvul. So how's it going to be that it's Mitzad?
Beyond also.
That's and if all the saying it could be Gvul. So then it's Nirgash that Be'etzim the Eibisher Shalei Be'erech B'chol. How could I have a Shaykhis thing? If he wants a different story. And the Alter says in Tanya that Maisa mitzvahs that what is Alter that but if you do without having this halacha that if you do a Maisa mitzvah without having any kavanah at all, you're mekayim ratzna alien and you're mamshech elukus involved. If you wouldn't have that, so if you do a Maisa with intention, if you do a mitzvah with kavanah, so you're mamshech elukus. If you do a mitzvah without kavanah, you're not mamshech elukus. So what would the tefisa be? That kavanah is a davar choshev. And if the more you're emotionally attached with the Eibishter, the more elukus is dimsha. The tefisa of the nevraim, ruchnisdik attachment is a mohos, is a inyan. So if you do the Maisa itself, you're etzim lichavasi. The Gabi the Eibishter, you're the machsheves ha'adam, and the Maisa is both b'shav shalei be'erech l'gabi. And the only thing what he wants to be nimshach in Maisa. Le'idach, the Eibishter is not limited that he has to be dafka in a way that the nivra is not a keli for him. If he wants, you could take a relate to him too, on your terms, so to speak. So you need kavanas and mitzvah only because that's his ratzon, not because kavanas and mitzvah is a keli for him. You say, but we don't need your ma'aseh. You don't need your kavanah. Can we kind the mitzvah without kavanah? And your yetzi dechavasi. But all the birds saying, so why do you need kavanah? Because that's what the Eibishter wants. They also have kavanah. A kavanah which is only mitzvah because that's what the Eibishter wants. So that kavanah is takamera lukus more. The Alter says in time. It was because the Eibishter wants. So in kavanah, what's the ratzon of kavanah? That it should be meir begoli. It means the niver should be able to relate to him. I'm saying these two coins, you have it in the Maisa Kavanah and Mitzvahs. So that, you say if you Yivdilchat with kavanah, what's the gehert the members from the minyan? So you start off the bechlal. It's not negea where the person is holding, because the Eibush is beyond all limitations. The gabi him, the ganze mitzvahs from I mentioned is kolachshiv, and his experience is kolachshiv. Who are halt is kolachshiv. A yid is chveis echal matzah. He has no idea. He has no kavanas halev klal. He's thinking about chveis pesandish. He's yetzi dechivasa. Leidach, why? The Eibishter ain't sof. So if he wants to be nimshach here, the man of what the person is thinking. So does that mean that the person's thinking cannot relate to him? He cannot be mayor in your das? If he wants, he could also be mayor in your das, but only from he wants. Not that the mitzvah needs the kavanah. If he wants. And what's taka the ratzon in kavanas and mitzvahs? That the should be mayor b'pnimis. That the niver should taka related. But why are you able to relate it? That's where you need to have the havhara. You're able to relate it not because the person which is relating to it is a yachsin and is able to relate to elikus, because elikus has no limits. Yeah, that's the difference. This is his Meir. Look at it. He says, he says, mamish. Like it says before, the way it's misgal in the air is that even though the air mitzad mahusay is ain't sof, the air could be meir in gvul midah. And even that the bleak vulshub is not meir begoli, and the air which is ain't sof is also meir in kalim. And there the kavod leal der b'yishmayin kim mehelam lagilu, shirmei namar. Umikomikim in arich legabe air sof mamish. כמי שאין ערך הגבול, בלתי בגבול.
Or I think it's better.
I mean, why do you think it's be'erech? If the nivras, if the air is mislavish with pnimi, it's not really a question of what would a person think. What would be, what's Meir? If it's not Meir, then it could that the air is ain't soft mamish, so then the air is mimshach b'gvul. That's not the Inyan. The emes is the emes says that the air is ain't soft mamish, and al bekain is mimshach b'gvul. This is expressing the truth. It's not. So the Alter Rebbe says Nago and Perik Beis and Tam. What does Alter Rebbe say? What's the Alter Rebbe's lot? The Alter Rebbe says that Huv Chachmas Yechot, Veshkasav Arambam Zal, V'Hoidu Lechachma Kabbalah, but only in Atzilus. Mashik L'Malam Atzilus Erin Saf Mireim Mesnase Reim was Inkas Mal Mahus B'Chnas Chabad. What's the Alter Rebbe saying? Actually, so what does it sound? The Eivisher, the way the Eivisher is higher than Atzilus, is Shalei Be'erach Chacham B'Asiyah. Chacham is Kasiyah Gufnes Esli Yisbarach. But in Atzilus, something changed. What happened in Atzilus? Mitamol, through the Seder Tzimtzum, the Eibishter is... so Pajit say with Tzimtzum. But I'm saying, the Alter Rebbe is, this is... The Mitzad Atzma is L'may L'maylam Hus B'chinas Chabad. Mitzad, when you're being made the Erech HaInyanim, Gvul, a Nivra L'gabe in Saf Shalei Be'erech Klal. Eilmas L'gabe in Saf Shalei Be'erech Klal. And that's l'mayla ma'alim husab b'chinas Chabad. But if he wants, and mitzad his ein sof, he's able to be hu v'chachmas yechad. It's mitzad his ein sof.
So how we're saying, everyone said atzma, it's legal.
Yeah.
Why is that? I don't like. That's funny. Why is it mitzad atzma? Mitzad atzma, it's a gilui of the Eibush. Eibush is yichidus v'hara.
But how is that? But how is that Meir Begol? Understand? The Eibishter is the way the Inyanim are in Yechelis. He says before, it's not Meir. It's beyond Bechlal expression. He's saying how is it Meir in Metzias? How is a Meir Inyan which is mushla from any definition? How is that Meir?
First beyond, then it goes even.
It's not first. Both of these tenuas are there. It's beyond and it's within. So you want to say, let's delete the beyond. It's not. That's the truth of the Inyan. It's beyond and within.
But really, it's not. None. It's not.
I understand it's not in any. How is that expressed? You want no gilu. You don't want gilu. It's something else. It's not. It's
like
not
one's
none.
more him than the other.
That's what he's saying over here. He's not saying one's more here than that. He's not saying that.
Okay.
No one's saying that Atzilus is less the Eibishter than Lifnei Atzilus. That's not what he's saying. That it's not less him. Who's saying that it's less him?
Okay, is that using mitzad atzma?
The air. That's the way it's Mizgala.
Why is it Gala like that?
You're going in a circle. I'm not sure what the I'm saying versteht doch, was nicht verstanden versteht doch. Keach Gvul, Keach Ein Sof Mamish. Why is it Keach Ein Sof Mamish? Because the air is Ein Sof. Therefore the Keach Gvul is Ein Sof Mamish. Und man kann in der Regel Ein Sof Mamish. K'meish in der Regel Gvul bilti bagvul. Ein is mal Moshe Shmakar Akad Hane Kedel Nisir Rasim Mal Gamri Mus Chochma. Darf gash alle Bertzene Lahatzel. Oshay Sheirs das Firis. In es gurs Matzil Khul Kana. Aber Kedem Alei Saratz in Sheidish Klal es is Firis Bkhnas Gvul Mida. Before Ali mitzad Ein Sof mitzad Atzmai is Pashat B'Tavas Abshittis. Means the mitzad Atzmai is Pashat B'Tavas Abshittis. And there's no shaykhs klal tesis for this. V'lechein legam madrege zu akavu b'chinas ein arech. Being meir begvul, mislabish in kelim, is shalei be'erech klal. Ukmekim b'chinas chachme, sheb'chinas adam al-el legabe akav, sheirish sheirish. Ukmekim legabe sheirish shemakar akav ha'hen b'chinas eres v'ez agnuz, this is echt dieselbe Sache. Means the fact that we're saying that the kav is be'ein arech is not only the kav is be'ein arech. The kav is be'ein arech, but al derech zeh, the Gabi Sherish, where's the Lashon here? K'meikin. I'm saying, K'meikin, Ubchinas Chachme, it's the same thing, the God nice. K'meikin, Ubchinas Chachme, Ubchinas Adam al-El, the Gabi Akav. Sherish. Uk'meikin Chachme is Gilei Ahelim, the Gabi Sherish Shemakar Akav, which is serious like news. But the Gabi Eren Sava Blikvol, Ubchinas Ein Arech. V'neki Yesh Ma'ayin, the Gabi Chino Madrig Gezu. Huh?
So over here he's saying that the Gabi killed Mother Israel, and that's what we're talking about. That we're saying Ben.
Rein erich klar. Yeah.
He's not bringing. So he's saying the Gabi Israel is Yabel. Yeah. It's not.
Chachma. That's
Chachma is Yabel.
a leis haratzen is misadine v'chel shel lahar. It says before. The sherish of the Erak Vol is misad leis haratzen. This brings it earlier. Means dir it's mir begoli that mitzad retzaynei he's bigvul.
The fact is that it's a list. It's called a list.
Mitzad retzaynei there's gvul. But etzem elamis is not a mitzvah at all. The Eibusher wants elamis, and if he wants elamis, he's not mugli. He could be an elamis too. Not because the.
We're saying the Gabi Israel. We don't mean that the Gabi means that Sataka. It's because of Israel and it's
Yeah.
the Machzach.
Yeah, we also mentioned it's Dibu is Mushash higher.
What did he bring Gabi Adam the beginning of the Hemshech? After he brings the whole Arichis, he says Neshamas are Adam Alel, Zama shekosem nas Adam Samini Kedem Seinu that Adam is as serious that Tzilis. Shein Sir Adam. Pashas nas Adam going Adam Atachtim. Here he attaches Nasa Adam is Adam Elyon. Just fears that Tzilis. Shein Sir Adam. Golgalta, there's Makif, there's Pnimi. All say there of a Metzias Adam. The Nikra Adam, why we calling it Adam? Lashon Adam Elyon, v'hainu shu b'tzalmeinu. What's pshat b'tzalmeinu? B'chinas es esfiris agnuzes matzila. Shemehem nimshcho eres des esfiris. Shem b'chinas neshama shel Adam datzilis. Means the sherish of the eres of es esfiris, which are the pnimius of es esfiris datzilis. The sherish of es esfiris agnuzes matzila. Which what's the es esfiris? It's not a matzias of gvul. It's the yechelis for gvul in there. Mitzad Oliver saying. Ein Pelacharim in Pirush Shvilas in the Shemayim Misaprim, Shemigale is a machshavas and elamas. Yirtze shin dugmal im keren shatzachtzachis am yuchet be'etzem ashesh behel machshav. Means, but what's the ufta what he says that Sphiris that Atzil's Adam Elel that it's Megale the in itself shalif netzim. It's Megale the Indian of Gvul the way it is mitzad er. Shin dugmal im keren shatzachis am yuchet be'etzem ashesh behel machshav baliyas eras. Hainu das Sphiris im Chinas Gil haben Gabi Sphiris im Gizmatzilm auch in der Erenz of Atzmi l'Shaych of Chinas Adam Kilei Adam Huchulu. Gabi Chinazu kin Yeshmai. Means these two opposites are true. There's two opposites. We're saying it in the way Shtashas is two opposites. There's the Eibusher's Lei Adam Hu. Erenz of Atzmi l'Shaych of Chinas Adam. Is mushta legamri of Chinas Adam. But mitzat Keach Ein Sof, the Keach HaGvul, he's Yeshach. He's able to yemes yachas tzira. In the Gabi the Etzem, there's the Eibusher's two opposite Kaviyachol, two opposite inyanim. There's mitzad the fact that the Eibusher's Ein Sof, he's Yachol Lahoyer Ershiv B'chinas Ein Sof. And mitzad the fact that the Eibusher's Kil Yachol, he's Yachol Shalei Lahoyer Klal, or that there shouldn't be Er.
That's what we call.
And that's the shirish of the Kech HaGvul.
That's what we call Gabi Israel.
Yeah, but that he touched up before how the Indian of Erak Vul, how that's neveya from the chelis and ha'atzmas shalelah. The same way the nekudas ha'ein sof is an expression of the chelis lahoyer ershiv chenas ein sof. The lahoyer bigvul is an expression of the ein sof in the kav of shalelah.
Because it's Erakol
That's from the Pisa Yuvan. That the ein sof there's the ein the spashtus ha'erev chenas ein sof. That expresses the Yechelis Lahoyer, and the fact that the air is able to be Behelim, or an Ephraim of Gvod, that expresses the Rekodah Yechelis Shalei Lahoyer. But in Etzem, the Lahoyer and Shalei Lahoyer is one Rekodah of Kel Yachol.
And how does this do with what we said before, that it's all, that the specialist is not really outside the market, it's all inside? We said that Erakol Batzmos. How does that connect to Erakol Batzmos to this whole?
What he said earlier.
I was in Kiev, I think, no? Speaks about Erakol Batzmos.
No, that way, the word that the air called us air as I'm saying the air higher than Mitzias air. The Nekuda is that
Yeah, it wasn't so.
Mitzad the way it is a Metzias so it's a Metzias Einion of Shittis. Somewhere, the fact that the what does he want to say? Hemshech this havos. The fact that this havos are there, this havos is mitzad amitis ke'achensav, which is higher than the Indian of mitzad atzma. Metzias it is. What's the pshat la'achar tzimtzum? What's the whole ufta of what he's saying here? That's what I'm saying. He's saying the gabi Mar Hashemesh. The gabi Mar Hashemesh. If you're speaking about the musig of gilui of the way we have it in the mashal, is the etzem mitzad atzma is. It's 9:25. That's the But okay, but mamshel we'll be mamshel. This starts the new